Well, hello. Today we are going to look at solving problems involving surface area. So that implies we are finding the surface area of a three-dimensional figure. One type of a three-dimensional figure is a prism. P-R-I-S-M-S. So prisms are three-dimensional figures. And, you see them all over the place. You really do. Whether, you're dealing with maybe something you've purchased. A box of cereal is a three-dimensional prism. A can of beans is a cylinder, which is three-dimensional figure. Triangular prism would be like a Toblerone, where it's one of those candy bars in that triangular container. One end's a triangle, and it goes to the back. Okay? So basically, prisms have a couple parts to them. They have a base, and the shape of this base is pretty much how you say the prism. So you could say that this is the base of this prism. So this is what kind of a prism? This is a rectangular prism. For this one here, the base is, in this case, I'm marking a triangle. So the name for this prism would be a triangular prism. Now this, we all know it's a cylinder. It's like a can of food. The base is circular. So in a way, you could say a cylinder is a circular prism. Okay? So prisms basically have two parts. They have a base, or the bases. If we're finding the surface area, they have two parts. They have a base area. So that would be the area of both bases. There are two of these. And then we're also going to have to calculate the area of the lateral area. Okay? So perhaps this is the easiest one to show. The circles on this case, or in this case, the circles called the bases. So we would have to calculate the area of both of those circles. And then the lateral area, these are the rectangles that hold the bases together. And in this case here, if you were to cut it and open it up and lay it out on the table, you'd basically have this. You'd have two circles, and you'd have one large rectangle to find the area of. Okay? When we calculate the area of the base, base area is typically labeled with a capital B. Alright? So if we're to find the area of this, we would find the area of both triangles, and then there are three rectangles holding those together. This one here, for us, and these are the type we're going to work on today, and we'll probably work on these and these on later in the week. So for us to calculate the area of this prism, we would have to find the area of this and, the hidden one in the back. So we're going to have to find the area, holy moly, of both of these bases. And then we would have to find the lateral area, so the area of the other four sides, because it says 6 sides, yeah? All right, so that's basically what we're going to do. I could talk about it all day, but it's not going to do you any good. So we're going to roll up our sleeves, and we're going to practice Standard 7.G.6, solving problems involving surface area. Now, a lot of times you'll see the problem set up like this, where there's a prism, and then next to it they have it's what's called the net, and it's laid out. This doesn't help me a whole lot, but this might help you. It might help some people. But what this is it's this cut along the edges and laid out flat. Okay? So that's supposed to help you see that the surface area of this figure is the area of all of its 6 sides. And for you to calculate it, you'll need to do that. You'll need to find the area of all the sides add it together. Okay? So, you know, I'll be honest with you, this really doesn't do much for me. And I need to kind of stick to what I know. And, you know, I don't know that much. But what I do know is I'm usually pretty accurate if I complete it the way that I am used to. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do visually, mentally. See, they've already kind of have that top base, a different color. And I think it helps stand out as, okay, this is the base of the figure. Here's how I am going to recommend that you do this. Okay? First of all, we got to go through the picture, possibly label it, okay? Because we are missing measurements. Now, if this side here is 10, hopefully you can see that this is 10 and this is 10, right? And then hopefully if you see that this here, the height here is 12, this is 12, that's 12. There's an invisible side in the back. That's 12. I just don't usually draw in all the parts and pieces. This is 10, okay? So, here's what I do, and I'm going to recommend that you do this. I'm going to go with, I'm going to find the area, and these are all rectangles, so obviously the area of any rectangle is base times height. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find the area of all of these sides. I like to find the area of the sides in pairs. So for example, I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to go with, I'm going to call this, I don't know, 2. And this is going to be, it's 10 by 5. And all the units here are inches, and I think I'm going to leave that out till the end, okay? So I am accounting for the top and the bottom. You know, I might even label it. That reminds me, I used to call it top, bottom. Okay? So this accounts for both of the sides. It's 10 by 5, and there's 2 of them. Now, I'm going to call this side the left side, and then the one that's exact same to the left is the one over here. I'm going to call that the right side. And I need to figure out their dimensions. So the left side is 5 by 12, and the right side is exactly the same. If you look over here, 12 by this edge would be 5. Okay? So I've got the top and I've got the bottom. I've got the left and I've got the right. The only thing I've not included is the front face and the back face. Okay? And I like to list these in pairs like this because they're the same. They're always going to be the same. Meaning the left is the same as the right, the top's the same as the bottom. So we're looking at the front and the back. I'm going to call this the front. This is the face. Face is another word for side. And this front is 10 by 12. Well, we know the back's exactly the same dimensions. Okay? And what you have now is, I should have broken this up and done it the same way as I did those. I'll do that. There we go. There. So now I can go back and check. Okay, do I have 6 sides listed? I do. And I'm going to go through here now and just crunch the numbers. Do the math. 10 times 5. This is 5 times 12. And this is 10 times 12. Okay? So these represent the area measurements for each of the parts. To find the total surface area of this, we're going to add these all together. So I got 0. I'm going to carry my 1. 5, 10, 11, 17. Plus 6 is 23. 24, 25, 26, 27. Carry the 2. 2, 3, 4. So it appears to be, and again, we're dealing with area, so it appears to be 470 square inches. Now, in the book and online and all that, you'll be shown that there are formulas, and there's definitely formulas. There are. I just, you know, I don't think at this point that's going to help you out a whole lot. So I used the calculator and got 460. Let me double check this one more time. 100 plus 120 plus 240. I guess I'm off by 10. Okay, so this is 460. You can double check that. Might be wrong. Okay, so this is how I want for you to approach finding the surface area of the rectangular prism. I mean, there's no real shortcut about this. Okay, what you really need to do is you go through and you look at the prism and you calculate the area of all the parts and pieces. Okay. Let's take a look at. You know what? I'm going to go to this. I'm going to skip this one. I'll leave this for last, maybe. And we're going to look at this one. Sorry. There it is. This is Fort Knox. If you can get inside of it, you can you get all the gold. No, let's say if you can figure out the surface area, you get all the gold. All right, I got to finish up. So let me finish. So I have a rectangular prism. I am going to call this the top, and you cannot see it, and it's exactly the same measurements, but there is a bottom. Okay? Now I'm going to call this the right side, and I cannot see it. It's over here, but I know it's the same dimensions. There's a left side. And the reason I'm bracketing these together is so I remember that they're exactly the same measurements. And then the only part that I've left off is, well, I've got the top and the bottom, I've got the right and I've got the left. I need to calculate the surface area of the front wall, and then that means there's a back wall. Okay? Now again, what we're doing is calculating surface area. And we do that by looking at the diagram, breaking it into parts and pieces. We're finding the area of all the sides, even the sides that aren't obvious, the side that's underneath, the side that's in behind that we can't see. And this is just one way for you to do this accurately and efficiently. Okay, and there's organization here and there's no getting lost. So, the top, well, here's the top side. If this is 7, this is 7. If this is 14, then this is 14. If this is 8, that's 8. Okay, so you might want to list some of the measurements on here. That's up to you. But for me, I kind of like to do that. The doors really have nothing to do with this because we're just finding surface area. So that's like if we wanted to paint it, how many square feet would we have to cover? Although you can't paint underneath the building, but hey, that's okay. All right, here we go. So the top is up here, and it's where the bird is. There's a bird. It's on the roof. Dang, that's a good bird. Anyway, so the top has a bird on it, and it's 7 by 14. And what I'm going to do at the end is include the units. So I'm going to put feet squared so I don't forget, and I'm going to go back and take a look at this. So the top is 7 by 14. That means the bottom's exactly the same. The right is 8 times 7. So is the left. The front is 14 by 8, and so is the back. Okay? So I have listed all 6 sides, the bases, and all the lateral sides. Now, we're going to crunch some numbers, and we're going to get the total surface area of this figure. I know that 14 times 7 is 98. I know this is 56. 14 times 8. I'm just going to double check. I don't want to be wrong. Although that does happen occasionally for sure. Make mistakes. Okay, there we have it. So I'm going to take all of these, add them together. So this is... Okay, I can clear this thing out. So 224 plus 112 plus 98 plus 98 equals 532. Now, I made a mistake on the last one, so I'm going to go back and double check this. Okay? And 98 times 2 is, so this is 196. This is 112, and that's 224. So I'm going to add these together. Plus 12 plus 224. Hey, 532. So the overall total surface area of this figure, this three-dimensional prism, is 532 square feet. There is no quicker way to do this. There are formulas. You're welcome to use those. But at this point in time in your math career, online education and all that good stuff, I would just break it into these parts: top, bottom, left, right, front, and back. Okay? It accounts for all the sides. It helps you visualize it, and I think it's just the way to go. I'm going to put this one up here, and I'm thinking this would be the one that we're going to go over together. Okay? So in fact, I think I'm going to do this and put it over there. The net doesn't do a whole lot for me. Okay? Now on this side here, again, list the parts and pieces. There's a top and a bottom. There's a left and a right. And there's a front face and a back face. There's 6 pieces, 6 faces to this figure. We're going to calculate all of these, and we're going to add them together, and that's going to get us the total surface area. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. You guys can work on this with Mr. Whately, and then hopefully they'll be good to go. All right? Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. We just discussed how you can find the surface area of a prism, specifically in this case, rectangular. All right? Take it easy. Bye-bye.